Good evening and welcome, ladies, to the WILE Net. This is Melanie, AG4WILE Net Control for this evening's net. We meet every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Echolink ALARA Conference node. Be sure to invite all YLs you know to join us. We ask that only YLs or female ham radio operators check in and participate. The purpose of this net is to encourage you to become and stay active with amateur radio, help each other improve our operating knowledge and skills, and have fun. For more ham fun between weekly nets, check out the WILE UpNet Facebook group. During the net, be sure to join us in the NFARL Do Drop In chat room by opening any web browser and going to nfarl.dodropin.org. Just put your name -- call sign in the box and then click Login. YLs who would like to check in, give us your call sign, name, and current location, and don't forget that there is a 3 to 4 second delay when transmitting through Echolink and all of the connected repeaters. This is Melanie, AG4YL. We will now begin taking check-ins. Please call now.
G6AMI, good evening.
KC8PKY, Linda, Knox, Indiana.
Victor Echo 4, Papa Echo Hotel, Winnipeg.
Okay, well, perhaps we're all just getting gathered here, and we'll get some more check-ins in a moment. We'll take what we have so far. We have G6AMY, Rachel from England, KC8PKY, Linda from Indiana, VE4PEH, Patricia from Manitoba. There's Catherine, I see, AC4YL, also joins us from Marietta, Georgia. And we'll go ahead and continue taking check-ins. Please call now.
One AYL, Ann from New Hampshire.
AE7MB, Margaret, Battleground, Washington.
A7SKY, Sky and Gardner, Washington.
W1 AYL, Ann from New Hampshire.
Victor Echo 3, Bravo Hotel Golf, April from Welland, Ontario, Canada.
Kilo Bravo 4 Radio Mike, Rosemary, Texas.
Judy, KE7IXI, Arizona.
Okay, let's see here. We have, let me make sure I have it. I do. We have W1AYL, Ann from New Hampshire. I did pick you up that first time, but thanks for coming back just in case. AE7MB Margaret from Washington. The KA7SKY Sky, also from Washington. VE3BHG April from Ontario, Canada. We've got Canada represented well here between Manitoba and Ontario. KB4RM Rosemarie from Texas. And KE7IXI. And it looks like we've just been joined by M0HZT. Jenny, good evening to you. We have you in the log here. And I think, I'm going to double check here. I think we have everybody so far. But as is so typical of this net, you can come in and join in any time that you like. You know, some people are getting in, especially in different areas of the world. It's different times of the day and night for them. Sometimes early in the morning, like with Jenny. And let's see here. And I do hear from Catherine in the chat. Lauren does have the recording going. So she'll upload it in the morning. She usually does it really early in the morning here, Eastern time. Actually, I think she might be Central time. And I noticed that Catherine put in, there we go. Catherine put in the chat address. And I encourage you, everybody, I'll go ahead and repost it for those that are just joining us. nfarl.dewdropin.org. The North Fulton Amateur Radio League has a Dewdrop-In chat room. We encourage, if you have a browser ability to get out a computer and open up a browser window, go there. It's a nice big chat and a little bit fancier than what we have here. Let me pause for a reset. And Jenny, I do see your chat. So you're going to be short time this evening, but glad to have you join us. And please give Murphin our best, and hopefully everything will come out well for him tomorrow morning. So we all here wish you the very best. And I will just go ahead and put a note in here that you are short time. And speaking of that, since you are short time, Jenny, did you want to come on and say anything to the group? Did you have anything that you would like to share? And a lot of people are putting in the chat for you, Jenny. There you go. Linda wishes you guys well. And would you like to come on and share anything with us since you are a short time? Share with the group what's been going on, what's been happening, or just say hi. Please come on in, Jenny, M0HZT, AG4YL, and the group.
Yes, thank you, Melanie. Hi everyone. Another piece of good news. Mervyn's got a date for his arthroscopy, May 2nd, at 7:30 in the morning, next Wednesday. We can't wait. We're literally counting the hours, but bye. Not a lot going on over here. Mervyn says, what's conditions like over there? The radio's kind of sometimes a no-go. we can tune it up the bands everywhere, and there's just nothing going on. As if we can't. It's terrible, really. The bands. Don't think we've got anything going on. Can't think of anything. Thank you everybody for your good wishes, and I'll catch you later some other time. I'll stay for a short while, very short, and then I shall be turn the light out and getting some sleep. Thank you, Melanie. Back to you.
Oh, very good. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And I realized I hit a button on my log and screwed something up. So let me, oops, let me just fix that real quick while I remembered what I did. I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing, and yeah, there we go. Oh my goodness, nope, that wasn't it. Wait. Okay, I hit delete and I screwed somebody up, and I think I wiped somebody out of the log. Oh well. Catherine, are you logging? Okay, great. Thank you. We'll compare notes later, and you can tell me who I'm missing, because I think I accidentally deleted somebody. I clicked on the wrong thing. Awesome. Well, I tell you what, conditions over here is the bands have been weird. There's been odd openings here and there, so that they've gone from flat to just being wide open. Yesterday, I happened to have DX heat on. I was looking at the cluster, and I tell you what, it's been weird. All of a sudden, I saw spots from 2-landers and 3-landers. It was open to Japan, to Asia. 20 meters was wide open to Asia, and that's unusual, especially for later on in the afternoon, which this was. So that was a little unusual. It's been challenging. Now it's been so down here in the southeast. It's been so windy. You know, it's hurricane season, so we get a lot of that. We get a lot of that weather that blows in here up into Georgia. Even though we are, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours from the coast, we still get the winds come in, the weather comes in the springtime, and so it's been very windy. So I've had and some storms have been coming through off and on. A few lightning storms, sometimes just rain, but a lot of wind. So I haven't gotten on the radio. The antennas are disconnected. The USB is unplugged out of the radio. I'm not taking a chance on popping anything. Oh, and I see Susie, NACGM. Oh, and Leah, looks like. Pause for reset. All right, so let's go ahead and get everybody in here and make sure that I got everybody accounted for on here and get you in the log. And like I said, whoever I don't do well multitasking. I'll add in whoever I miss later, because fortunately Catherine has got my back this evening. And so hello to everyone. Good to talk to you. And I am I'm glad to see Katie on. I don't know if you have been. I know you've been really busy with your thing. I posted a question about on the new IO groups, groups IO that I started for WILE Ops. It's WILE-Ops at Groups IO, and it is pinned to the top of the WILE OpNet Facebook group. It's not just for WILE OpNet, it's for anybody. So you can tell anybody. It is the only Groups IO, or at least the first one. I haven't seen any other ones. It's the only WILE group on Groups IO, and it's for WILEs, and I'd like it to kind of be a question and answer, and I posted a thread, a message, talking about starting your own club. And I don't want to put you on the spot, Katie, but I know that you and your OM started the WY7SS club out there, and I had posted some questions on a club, and Catherine and I were talking, and we were thinking about doing something similar to that, not the exact same type, but the eccentricities of starting a club and getting the documents and the people, because it sounds very confusing. I know you can go through one of 3 VECs, including ARRL. That seems to be the easiest one. Seems to be a lot of paperwork. Let me pause or reset. And so some of the questions that we had, you know, there's Constitution. I know you can find some sample constitutions, and I know you're supposed to, you know, keep minutes of the meeting where you designate your officers and, you know, do your Constitution and all that kind of stuff. ARRL VEC is the only one that doesn't require you to set up that paperwork, and we were curious, you know, what you used and kind of how you went about it in the seed of that. If you would like to at some point, I don't know if the gals here are interested or not, but if you would like to sort of give us some more information on how you did that. You don't have to do it tonight, of course, because I know you just kind of got back. But if you'd like to in the future, we certainly, I think, would be interested in. It doesn't have to be long. Just giving us kind of an overview of how you guys went about it. Were you just sitting around one day and going, "Oh, we love sweepstakes. Let's start a club and get a club call sign." And by the way, the call sign's very cool. It does put Wyoming on the map, doesn't it? Good evening, Kimberly, VK2KMI. Good evening to you. And I'm going to go ahead and get you into our log here. There you go. Good to see you this evening. We were just chatting around and talking about a few things. Oh, that was that's awesome, Katie. Kimberly, we were talking about starting a club call, and if you've been following the YL Ops at Groups.io email reflector, then I posed a question on it a couple of weeks ago about starting your own club. So I would love to hear from Katie. For those of you that don't know, Katie, WY7YL, out in guess what state? Just go ahead, guess. Go ahead. Well, I'll tell you, Wyoming. Her and her OMs really love sweepstakes and started a club, WY7SS. And I would love to hear what you had to say about that. Katie, let me pause real quick. So I just wanted to set that up for the people that aren't aware. Her and her OM started a club, and for basically, I guess, a contest club. It's not like you know, you got monthly meetings and play dues kind of club, unless I'm really wrong. But I saw it. I saw the call one time, and I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. Let me check that out. And I looked it up on QRZ, and I went, oh, I know them. So I was kind of curious about that. So Katie, WY7YL, has been kind enough to say she'd pop in and talk about it for a moment. So that's awesome. So Katie, WY7YL, AG4YL, and the group.
Well, hi there, Melanie and everyone, all the YL. This is Katie, WY7YL. Real quick, we actually have not set up our club officially in terms of a constitution and organization. We have loose membership, but it's been on our to-do list, to be honest with you. And the reason we created WI7SS is, and I'm not sure if we put this on our QRZ page, but when we got married, which is actually 10 years this year, it was sweepstakes weekend. And being from Connecticut, having worked at the league before, you know, I had lots of friends there. And we actually were married on November 15th, which was SSB Sweeps. And after we were done with all the family activities at my mom's house, we went to W1AW and played in the contest for a little bit. So when we were looking at adding, you know, kind of creating a contesting club call sign so that we would have something that wasn't our own individual call signs, we came up with WI7SS for sweepstakes. So that's kind of how that came about. But actually putting together the club is on our to-do list. So I'll get joined up with that group and see what I can learn as well. And I believe someone has sent us some documentation. We're just way behind the mark on actually making it happen, but it's something of interest to me, and hopefully something we can all help out with each other on that too. So with that, I'll send it back to you, Melanie. WI7YL here, back to AG4YL.
Wow, what a neat story. That's great. What better? what a great story and great anniversary date, right? I mean, cool. Well, on the WI7SS QRZ page, it's interesting, and of course, there's a few names, contest names that we know and love, holding their brooms for the sweeps. So that's really kind of fun and interesting. And gotta love those pictures and a little inside pictures. And by the way, yes, the groups I.O. For those who are not familiar, they may be familiar with Yahoo groups, and I have subscribed to several Yahoo groups, and I learned a lot from them, from the groups that I had been subscribed to, but Yahoo is dropping support for groups, and a lot of group owners are fleeing and going to Groups IO, which I have to tell you is just a dream. It's really wonderful, intuitive, clean. It's a beautiful interface. It's so nice to use, and I absolutely love it. And after several of my groups that I belong to moved over there, I decided to start one over there. So what it is, for those that aren't familiar, is it's kind of the cross between an email reflector and a forum. I do encourage those that join groups on Groups.io, unless you want to get blow-by-blow emails, and some really want to stay on top of their groups and get every post as it comes in an email. You can get, I encourage you to get the full featured digest, it comes in every 12 messages gets posted. You'll get another digest, or in the evening, whichever comes first. So it's a wonderful way to kind of keep up with what's going on with the group. As soon as you open that digest, that email, you'll get the subjects up at the top. The address for our group is, you can go to Groups.io and go ahead and set up an account. To set up an account with Groups.io. Unlike Yahoo, you don't have to create a Yahoo address. You just use any email you want to. Let me pause for reset. Now I see that Catherine AC4YL has posted the WILE Groups.io group in WILE Ops Groups.io group into the chat. And I'm sure she's done it over on the other end at the Norfolk chat. But please, if you don't have an IO Groups account, Groups.io account, it's been an evening. A Groups.io account, go to Groups.io and get an account. It's quick, it's easy, it's free, it's simple. They're going to send you an email. In the history of being an admin for this group, I found that a lot of members are getting their Groups.io confirmation email winding up in their junk or spam box. So you should get a confirmation back almost immediately after you go to set up your account. It's just an email confirmation from Groups.io. I can actually see when a member requests to join the YL Ops group, whether or not you've answered the Groups.io confirmation, and I can resend that confirmation to you, and I will before I approve your membership. This makes things so much easier for you to manage your account, and I encourage you, while you're on Groups.io, is do a search in there for things that you were interested in. Last week we had a conversation about, somebody asked about Raspberry Pi. I did a quick group search, and there was at least half a dozen groups devoted to Raspberry Pi. So I encourage you to check it out. It's really neat. Again, once you get all signed into your groups, you can set, there's a pull-down menu. You go to My Groups, and you can set your preferences. Your username that you use for your Groups.io, once you set that, then you can go into your subscriptions and change the individual usernames, pictures, and signatures for each one of the groups that you join. So it's really customizable, and it's a lot. It's great. It's a lot of fun, and you will learn a lot. So I encourage you to check that out. Let me pause for a reset. Now, Catherine put a note in here. Don't forget, absolutely post. You can post from, you can respond to any one of the emails that come in, one of the digests that come in. You can post directly to Groups.io. I would encourage you to either respond to an email or start your own message by going to your group and responding there so that you can follow threads. If you post from your email, it will be starting a new thread. And that's fine. I can fix that. I can combine those later. I've done it for myself just to test it and experiment with it. But you can post right from your phone, your tablet, your computer. You don't have to use your email to post from. You can go right to Groups.io, manage your groups, select the YL Ops or whatever group you want to comment on. You can see all the threads there, and you can comment on it. You can also post your photos there. I've opened it up to allow you to post photos, and you can upload files if you have some charts or some files or some how-tos. And all I ask is that you please put something in the subject field that will be easily searchable. And you can use hashtags if you want to. You can use keywords if you want to. You don't have to, though. But it makes it easier for other people to search if they're looking for a subject and want to find this. As I said, it's like an email reflector and a forum mixed up in one. And in years past, I used to belong to quite a few forums, and they really helped me. And searching forums can help you get answers on things. Now, Catherine has a comment regarding the Groups.io group. So I'm going to pass it over to Catherine, AC4YL, AG4YL, and the group.
Okay, thanks, Melanie. Appreciate it. I just wanted to jump in and make a comment on the Groups.io, which you already started talking about, posting in there. The purpose of the YL Ops group in Groups.io is to give every YL around the world a central location where we can all interact with each other, get to know each other, and share all our information about amateur radio. So I know there are a lot of Facebook groups out there. There's Women in Ham Radio, there's the YLRL, there's the YL OpNet group, there's the YLs in the world. There's a lot of YL Facebook groups. Join as many of those as you like, but the purpose of this Groups.io area is for YLs everywhere. It doesn't matter what YL organization you may belong to, if any, or wherever you're located. any YL, we want to encourage any YL to join the group and post that. So what kinds of things can you post on groups.io? What are some ideas for some topics? Well, what about the topics we talk about on the net, or questions that you have? If you're a relatively newly licensed amateur radio operator, maybe you have some trouble with mic shyness and you want to ask other YLs, did anybody else have this? How did you get past it? What are some tips and tricks that you have for me as a newly licensed YL to get past my mic shyness? Or I've never done digital modes before. How do I get started? Ask a question. Make the subject getting started in operating digital. That's your topic. And then ask a question. Maybe you've never contested before and you need some help with contesting. Post that. New to contesting. Where do I start? What are some basic contesting tips that you have? Maybe you have your own suggestions and you want to post that. Maybe you jumped into Raspberry Pi and you want to talk about it. Maybe you're big in kit building and you want to talk about it. Let me pause for reset. The list of topics is endless, and this gives us an opportunity to reach out to the entire group at once and share that knowledge. Maybe you want to know there are YLs that are members of the YL group that are in the UK and in Australia and in Canada. Maybe you want to learn more about how you can get licensed there, or what the licensing rules and requirements are for anywhere around the world that we have a YL member. That's why we want to make a central group for YLs all over the world to have one location to share knowledge with each other and encourage each other in amateur radio. And so please post your questions, post your tips, post your suggestions, post your experiences. If you, your first experience perhaps helping out in a local community event, a marathon, and you want to share what that was like, anything like that, that's what you want to post there so that you can share that experience with YLs that might be interested and want to know what it's like to help out in a local community event. In regards to amateur radio, maybe you've never been to a ham fest before. What should I expect? So those are just some ideas. Again, it's endless, but those are those kinds of topics that you can talk about and post there in groups.io. And please feel free to share the WYLOpNet Facebook group, the WYLOpNet YouTube channel. Tell them how to join this net. Share the links to join the WYLOps groups.io group. Post that and share that anywhere that you like, on any other Facebook group you're a member of, or if you are in charge of a YL newsletter, feel free to share that, because it will help all of us become better amateur radio operators and have even more enjoyment in the hobby. So with that, I'll get off my soapbox and pass it back over to Mel. AG4YL, AC4YL.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Catherine. And good evening to you, Andrea. K2EZ Andrea joins us this evening. And as well as Ann KC9YL, Michelle W5MQC. I've got all of you in the log as well. So we have you in. And yeah, I wish I had the I need to get out and do some power walking. That would be really awesome to me. I'm so just everything that Catherine said there. When you try to join, an automatic letter goes out from the WYLOps at groups.io, and it asks you some questions, and that's what I was resending to you all. And I know we all know each other here. I just do it for continuity, so that there are some new people that I may not know. I may not recognize names. sometimes all I see is an email. I don't know your call signs. I don't know, anything about you. And I ask these questions to help us keep our groups safe, because I want it to be a nice, comfortable, safe place. It's not a wide open public group, although anybody can see the posts. And this is what's kind of interesting about these. It's like a forum. You just can't post it, but everybody can see everything. You can see the questions. You can see the posts. I could have made it private, but what's the point? You're trying to help people, and I'd like some things to go on there of interest that's fun and interesting. It hasn't been going on very long. There are not a lot of posts, but it's fun. And like Catherine said, post whatever you want to post. So with that being said, I'm going to try to get a little bit more things on there and some more stuff in the calendar. Read the pinned post up at the top. There's some helpful information in there. Upon approval, you'll get the welcome. You'll get the basic rules. Let me pause for a reset. Okay, so Jenny, time to turn in, and thank you for joining us. And we really appreciate it having you here with us. And hope everything goes very well tomorrow, and everything next week as well. So yay! I think you said the second or the third. I may be off a day, but anyway, very good, and good night to both you and Murphin. And I hope everything goes well to you, and we wish you all the very best. 3373 to Murphin. Have a good evening to you, Jenny. Hopefully, maybe we'll get you caught up next week. Okay, what else? As far as going back to what we were talking about with KDWY7YL, the reason why I was asking the questions as I was technically, when you apply to a VEC for a club call, you're supposed to, if it's with ARRL, you're supposed to have the Constitution, minutes, and all that stuff on file, from what I've read, technicalities, right? And that's why I was asking those questions to Katie. And I know if you go with the there's two other groups that you can use. You can use the not just the ARL VEC, W5YI VEC, and W4 VEC. There's only three groups that you can go with. And those two and the AR VEC, those are the three groups that you can use to apply for a club license application. With the W4 VEC and W5YI VEC, you have to submit copies of everything, Constitution and minutes, and on and on and on and on and on. It's a little bit daunting. I think ARL just requires that you keep these items on file, and they're a little bit more lenient as far as you don't have to mail copies of all this paperwork or fax it or whatever. So they're a little more lenient. So that's why I was asking all the questions of Katie concerning club documents. Let me pause for reset. All right, and Jenny confirmed that it was May 2nd, so that's awesome, and that she will fill us in. So, and I see, you got to take your OM for a walk. Well, all right. Thank you for joining us this evening, April, and we appreciate you coming to us from Ontario. And I hope you have a good evening. Go get them out there for a walk and enjoy the, well, let's see. Yeah, enjoy your evening there. I hope the weather's doing better for you than it is here. It's been sprinkling off and on here, this part of the in the southeast here. So 33 to you and good night. And hopefully we'll catch you next week. Yep, and there Catherine just said the same thing. don't forget to feed them too. Take them for a walk and feed them. This is good. www.k6jm.com. I'm not sure if I have seen that one or not, but Catherine just posted another little website that has the link to the application for He Feeds Me. There you go. So, yeah, Catherine, yeah, and it does have link to the 3 forms. Leah, what was your question? I see a bunch of question marks here. To set up a club, yes. Step-by-step instructions. I think I've seen that one, and the links to the forms. It's pretty easy to get the links to the forms. The ARRL has an actual part of their website on starting a club, and they have a sample constitution from an Aries club, and it's pretty nice. They have a nice little setup there. It gives you a lot of information, and it's one of the best things. But, of course, you can just put anything in the search engine, starting a club, and you can come up with some really, really good answers. Oh, hi, Judy. I see you in there. Got you in the log. Let me pause for a reset. All right, tra-la. We've just been talking a little bit of this, a little that, and all that other kind of stuff. See, I was going to ask Andrea that too. Catherine just asked in the chat where she's hailing from this evening, and I see that because she does come from different areas besides her native New Jersey. Yeah, Catherine, I was wondering that too. Figured she might come back in here and say something if she's not coming in. She might just have us on in the background, and that's just fine if y'all have things to do. We understand that and put it on in the background. The NF4GA repeater, that's in North Fulton Amateur Radio League, which is here in north of Atlanta area, and they carry us on their repeater every Thursday evening. There are quite a few OMs that like to listen to this net, and this also just for being on. Oh, hi, Ann, KC1CRS. Good evening to you. The Adelaide Reflector, the ALARA Conference. There's a lot of people that can tap in and listen to us, and we're always glad to have. We have a lot of OM supporters that like to listen to us, so we're always glad to have those supporters right there. And I do have you in the log. It takes me a while to type this out, and I am not always the best. There we go, at multitasking. And KC1 Cirrus from Massachusetts, good evening to you. And I got Judy N5 KUO from Oklahoma. I have you in the log as well. So good evening to everybody. And I'm wondering if Linda got bounced out and bounced back in, because I had you in there before and I see you pop back in again. So Echolink Gremlins at work, I'm sure. Glad to see you back on with us there. Linda, I do see you on. Oh, is Dawn? Oh, there's Dawn. Hi, Dawn. I'm so sorry. There you are. I've got some new glasses on order, and hopefully they'll be in sometime next week. Let me pause for reset. And Linda says, yep, Echolink Gremlins. All right, Dawn, thank you. I do have you in the log, and yeah, sorry about that. So on a side note, I'm feeling a lot better now. Last week when I came on a little bit, I haven't been too vocal. Back in March, I took a fall while I was at work, and I tried to break my fall with my face, and I succeeded in breaking the fall with my face. The parking lot concrete won, however, and I busted myself up pretty good. so I have been out of work and had to undergo some surgery to fix things in my face and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm feeling a lot better. However, I have been out of work for a while, and even though it's being covered by work, I don't see a whole lot in the way of I have to go unbreak a database for a client. All right, Kimberly. Hey, thanks for coming in with us. We'll say 33 to you. And go fix that up for them. And, yeah, tech never waits, does it? But it's that time of day for you out there. Have a good one, and we will see you hopefully next week. And Dawn, no problem, Dawn. Sorry that you have a sore throat. That's okay. Just hang in there with us, and hopefully we can provide a little is something interesting to keep your mind off of it. We've been talking about all sorts of things, but nothing really organized for the last 45 minutes or so. And my personal story, I just went into I was really looking forward this year. Catherine and I have managed to make the trip up to Dayton the last couple of years. For the last year that Hamvention was in the Hare Arena, which was good. My father actually had gone there years before. He became a silent key in 1972, but I know he went away every year to go to Dayton. Let me pause and reset. And, of course, when we went that year in 2016, we had no idea that was going to be the last year in Hera. I mean, we knew Hera's time was coming close, but that was our first year that we managed to make it up to date, and it was very exciting, and I was so glad that I did that before Hera did close. It's kind of one of those, walk in Dad's footsteps kind of thing, right? And so in last year, of course, was the first time in Xenia, and we had a good time. And we had all these plans to ride up there again this year. And then I had my accident, and Catherine's been dealing with her own things and stuff that she needed to take care of in her world. And so, unfortunately, everybody, there's a few people here on the net that we're going to be up at Dayton, some that we've had eyeball QSOs with before, and some people we have not. And I was really looking forward to meeting some new faces and revisiting some familiar ones. And unfortunately, because of the time out from work that I have had, and my accident, and all this good stuff, it is not feasible for me to turn around and ask for another week off. Since I have been off, it will be close. It's going to be close to 2 months that I'm going to have been out of work and on reduced pay. So it's just not feasible for me to do that. And why am I saying this? Well, because like I mentioned, there's a few of you out there on this net this evening that we're going to be at Dayton that I was really looking forward to seeing, and it absolutely breaks my heart that I can't do that. And unfortunately, sometimes life just does that, and it's tough. But I so look forward to. We have time, right? And we have more time to play and have fun, and we have the net to get together on, which is wonderful. And I'm glad, I'm honored to be here. Let me pause and reset. And I'm so glad. Oh, you need to go and finish dinner and feed. All right. Well, Katie's out, and we shall see you hopefully next week. You can pop in. Katie WY7YL has to go, so 33 to you. Oh, and there goes Michelle. All right. Well, go and finish your project. And again, Yes, thanks for stopping by. Always good to see you. And by the way, I noticed that you are this goes out to there goes my mind to Judy. When are you going to download and get your? I mean, you've got Echolink. When are you going to get your call into Echolink so that you can sign on as you and go get your thing? It's pretty easy. We'd love to see you get your call up there in Echolink, and that would be awesome. Not that there's anything wrong coming in third party. And by the way, the third party rule also applies here on Echolink. So to any of you, if you have friends, neighbors, unlicensed female friends that want to come on to the net and say hello and see what it's like, and get them using RF, as long as you are the control operator of your Echolink node, they can come on third party. So we've had some gals bring their daughters on, their moms on, and say hello, and it's a great way to it's a little bit of excitement. Remember your first time on the radio, and my first time as a ham, doing anything ham-wise, if you will, was on this net back in December, January 2014, 2015. Pause for reset. All right, so that's one of the things I thought would be interesting. I kind of wanted to hear from some of the ladies out there, some of y'all that are left with us, and we talked a little bit about Hellschreiber last month, and we talked a little bit about some of the digital modes, and last week we talked about CW. We had Rhea and 2RJ talk about interfacing CW, decoders and using your computer, and a little CW contesting, and something about the contest from last week. I was hoping she was going to be on this week and be able to fill us in on how that went. But we thought it might be interesting. So we all know about the new Joe Taylor mode, as they call them, FT8, and everybody's been getting really crazy about FT8. But the JT65, JT9, FT8, you can't contest. Those aren't contesting digital modes. Those are just weak signal modes. JT65 and JT9 are true weak signal modes. FT8, you need a little bit more because the exchange is so quick. But you can't use them for contesting because everything is kind of pre-programmed. It's a push-button contact. And I've gotten out quite a few contacts on FT8. I've kind of been there, done that, played around with it and said, okay, now I want more. And so I've been looking into, and I've got the software, but it's a little daunting. WSJTX and the JT Alert and my N3FJT logging program and my Kenwood all pretty much interface together, and I figured that out. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. Just basically setting it up, and even more so than operating on FT8 was getting it all working. And I've played on the other JT modes as well. After FT8, it kind of ruins you for anything else because it's so fast. Everything else just seems so slow by comparison. But I've been wanting to learn more and try to do some more of the... and Margaret, A7MB has to go. 33, Margaret. Let me pause for reset. Oh, and yeah, we're losing a few more. It's wonderful that you all could join us. Anne has to run, So, Ann Margaret, good evening to you all, 33, and hope to see you next week. And yeah, I know there's been a lot of homes needing assistance. And I was trying to catch up. Bear with him to. Oh, I gotcha. 85 hams to make it happen. I understand. My goodness, that is a lot. 85 hams to make the marathon, and you're short this year. Wow. Yeah, you know, Linda, it might be something in the air, huh? How's your OM doing? Oh, that's great. Between the Echolink Gremlins and the OMs, right? But back to what I was curious of those of you all that's left here on the net this evening, RTTY and PSK are the two main digital contesting modes. Like there are RTTY contests and you can use PSK. Those are pretty much, besides the old-fashioned quote-unquote digital mode of CW, there are those are the main contesting digital modes. And I know Hal Schreiber, it's a little bit different animal. But I'm curious, RTTY and PSK, are there any of you out there that use either of these modes? What kind of software are you using? What kind of interface are you using? And how are you logging your contacts? PSK, RTTY. Any of you ladies out there into that, throw your call out there, and we would love to, on the net, to hear what you have to say about RTTY and PSK. Please call now. Okay, AG4YL here. Really? There's nobody here on the other end that is playing with RTTY or PSK modes out there. Give you another chance to hop in. Just looking for a little bit more input and information on either of those two digital modes. Please call now.
C9YL.
Well, okay, Ann, please go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I'll give you a little bit kind of off the top of my head. I must admit I haven't done it in a while. I originally started RTTY 2 years ago because I wanted to help my contest club up with points, and I figured CW was going to be well beyond my scope, certainly at the time, and figured it would be the easier of the two alternative modes to try. And I tried it. I was able to set it up. It's pretty straightforward, and you preset just a lot of keys. I like it for contesting, and the exchanges are short and sweet. You just kind of click, 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 and it's really pretty easy. The PSK, I've just noticed overall the people that use PSK seem a little bit wordier, and because I like the contesting aspect of things, I like the RTTY because it seems a little bit shorter and sweeter. Again, you can have the presets for when you're doing the contest or want to send certain strings of information, but then you can also do some free typing. And I've got a signal link interface between the radio and the computer, and people say not real complimentary things about it, but man, for me it just works just fine. It's the single signal link USB. You have to make sure that you have the cords to match your radio, but otherwise it's pretty slick for about $100 and couple dollars investment. Back to net, this is KC9YL.
Awesome. Yes, Anne, I have been reading and trying to look up at it, and I do understand. I've been reading this book that we got from I ordered it from ARL, but it's an RSGB book out of Great Britain. Roger Cook authored it, and it's on RTTY and PSK31 for radio amateurs, is what it's called. And I did understand from what I've read about it is that RTTY is more of a faster exchange, and the rag chewing, sort of, if you will, like I said, wordy, tends to be on the PSK31 side of things. It tends to be a little bit more conversational, I guess, out of the two digital modes. And I have, of course, also heard about using the signal link as opposed to, and I'm going to assume that that's the gray and black box, or I don't know if it's gray, but the little box, signal link USB interface, and I know you can interface directly to your computer and radios that are outfitted. Obviously, my 590SG can do it on its own, but they say that having an interface actually will make things go a little faster and a little bit smoother. If you're getting into some serious contesting, you want to have an interface as opposed to using direct to your sound card on your computer. The interface can make it faster. What software are you using for RTTY, and what software have you used for PSK31, if you have operated PSK31, and if you wouldn't mind coming back with that information?
Actually, I would really have to look that up. I'm thinking it's like W1HJK, something like that. The name just escapes me right now. Let me see. I'll bring it up and I'll call back in.
Oh yeah, no worries at all. I was curious. Now, a lot of people, and I've been running a lot of information on the quote-unquote best programs for RTTY, and of course, asking a ham what is the best of anything will get you. If you ask 10 hams, you'll get 10 different answers. Not really, but it kind of comes into that. Now, a lot of things that I have heard as far as the RTTY is they really, really like MTTY, and it comes from a OM out in Japan who has written a really nice RTTY program. They really like it. It seems to be super popular as far as RTTY. It's just sort of a top program is MTTY. I've got several things downloaded on my computer as far as programs that can do this, and of course it's MMTTY, and using FLDigi to talk to my N3FJP logging program. So I haven't done a whole lot getting that together. People seem to like a few different things for PSK, which could be Digipan. There's a lot of different ones. Some things, they're saying the interface is really confusing and complicated, but it's a great program once you get around. Some of the interface is ugly. There are so many different opinions, and that's why I kind of wanted to introduce this to really understand a little bit more about MTTY with N3FJP. I believe you need to use the FLDigi. I think the FLDigi is sort of the handshaker that makes MTTY talk to N3FJP. It is FLDigi. Yep, there you go. There you go. Yep. Let me pause for a reset real quick. All right, and I see Catherine's also been busy putting up some really cool stuff in here. and I have that PDF from AA5AU. AA5AU, it's www.aa5au.com. He's got a great website on, it's a personal website, but he does have a whole section on ham radio and specifically on RTTY. And he recommends using MMTTY. FLDigi, yeah, see, I understand. FLDigi was what I had downloaded, that and MMTTY, and I think there was something where you needed to use them together or they talk to each other. I know that N3FJP likes FLDigi. They chat well together. There's just so many things out there. ReadyContesting.com. Yep. See, Anne and Catherine are both right on top of it. They both put that thing right up there, ReadyContesting.com. And one thing I learned about reading this book, I really shouldn't say Riddy. It's really RTTY, so not Riddy. There is a British group. In fact, Roger Cook, I don't know who he is with this group. I discovered it by accident and found it really interesting, and then I got this book and found out he's with it too. And I'll get it in a minute, the group that he belongs to. Oh, it's BARTG. It was the British Amateur Radio Teletype Group, but the name Teletype actually belongs to Teletype Corporation. So it's the British Amateur Radio Teledata Group. They weren't breaking any copyrights there on names. So it's kind of like there's Kleenex and then there's facial tissue. So BARTG, Bartig. Interesting site, nice and simple. A lot of interesting information on that as well. Let me pause for reset. And I see the RTTY Starter PDF from VA3CCO. So we've got Canadian in there as well. Thank you, Catherine, for putting all these, and Anne for putting these up there. And so FLDigi and MTTY. And then, you know, PSK31, boy, we're talking about a whole nother thing. So I think what I'm going to do is leave PSK31 off to the side for a while and focus on doing Ridian, like I said, for contesting. That's just another one of those things that it's not as simple as, say, the JT modes, because he has his own software to run all the modes, so it's easy. And JT Alert interfaces with N3FJP. I didn't have to do as much research behind it to get something up and working, but it seems that you know, there's lots of different programs that'll run RTTY and lots of different programs that'll do PSK31 and lots of different programs that'll do both of them. So it's a beginner's guide to RTTY contesting from M0JCQ. I believe I've seen that one too. Wow, there's a lot of good stuff on here. And Catherine, I hope you keep this stuff together so that we can put all this on the OpNet Facebook group and put these links up there. That'll be helpful. And maybe we can get the links over there and start a RTTY and PSK31 topic on the YL Ops group. And please, you know, Anne, if you'd like to contribute that and pop that up there, all the memberships are approved. Everyone's approved. So please go on there if you want to throw some information on there, if you're interested, if you care. I understand, you know, that you know, there's a lot of things going on with a lot of people out there, and I'm not asking anybody to get too nuts. But please, if you can, go ahead and I guess all the new members, I guess you all started accounts on the group's IO as well, so that's awesome. I told you it was fast. Pause for reset. All right, and there's a lot of nice chat going on here on Echolink, and I can only imagine what's going on over on the NFARL side. I'm going to open it up to the group for comments, questions, thoughts. You want to talk about digital? You want to talk about Groups.io? You want to talk about anything like that? Things coming up with you? Let's just go ahead and open it up to the group. Please call now.
AC4YL.
Go ahead, Catherine. And by the way, I got you in the log, Tracy, KF5PGN. Tracy from Texas, good evening to you. Go ahead, Catherine.
Well, thanks, Melanie. And wow, we have a great group tonight. It's wonderful to see all the YLs on this evening. I posted some links earlier on in the net when people were making some comments about band conditions, and it seems to be an ongoing brief topic on the net. So I shared a couple of links to that discuss where we are right now in the solar cycle. So right now we're in solar cycle 24, which started in 2009 and runs to 2020. And it's currently right now on pace to be the weakest sunspot cycle with the fewest sunspots since cycle 14 peaked in February 1906. So if you're wondering why band conditions suck, that's why. We're on the downward trend of this current solar cycle. I believe, let me see if I can find where the peak was. We've already passed the peak for this current solar cycle, so that's why we are on the downward swing right now. So here it is. The solar maximum of this cycle was reached in April of 2014. Again, this solar cycle started in 2009, and so in 2014 it reached its solar maximum. So that was the peak of activity. It was actually the second peak in this current solar cycle that we are in. And so it's going to continue, unfortunately, on a downward trend through the end of the solar cycle. Does that mean we're not going to see, some spikes in ham radio activity or band conditions, until 2020? No. But generally, band conditions are not going to be good. So what does that mean? Well, we've talked about before exploring other modes of amateur radio other than single sideband or phone. And that would be your digital modes and CW. And a lot of the YLs here have already started learning CW and operating that. Let me pause for a reset. So with that will actually help you continue in operating ham radio. Does that mean you'll never hear anybody on the bands on phone? Oh, absolutely not. All you need to do is get on during a contest weekend. There's still, activity going on, but it just kind of gives you an idea that unfortunately we're on the downward side of the current solar cycle, so band conditions as a general rule are not going to be good, and they're going to affect all of us. So I shared a couple of links up earlier in both chats. Well, actually, I think I just put those in the Echolink chat. But I will also pull those to kind of give you an idea of some of the information I just shared, as well as what is a solar cycle. Basically, the Earth has cycles, which we call seasons. The sun also changes. The sun's energy output changes roughly on an 11-year basis. So those cycles, we call them solar cycles. So more information I will get those links. And again, that might be another topic we can start in groups.io and share links on that. I'm by no means an expert. I literally just did a search on current solar cycle and gathered some basic information to kind of understand, what that means, where we are in the solar cycle, and how that is affecting band conditions. So hopefully that gives you gals an idea. At least you kind of know what's going on and why band conditions as a general rule stink. But please don't let that discourage you from getting on the air and operating. Again, you don't really know what band conditions are like, or if you can hear anybody, or if anybody can hear you until you get on the air and call CQ. So get out there, get on the radio, spend some time calling CQ. Get on voice modes, explore the digital mode operating, explore CW. Those are the ways you can get further distance on lower power, and may have better luck getting more contacts in your log, as we're in the downturn of the solar cycle currently. So anyway, hopefully that information was helpful, and with that I'll pass it back to Melanie, AG4YL from AC4YL.
Nice. Well, thank you for that. That's awesome. I love to hear information concerning propagation. I actually got one of the books from ARL on propagation, which, in all honesty, I have not gotten to. I've got a stack of books I haven't even gotten into yet. But talking about the solar cycle, this is where a lot of people are getting into RBNs, or reverse beacon networks, and there's a link that Catherine can. I've just posted on the Echolink chat. There's a link there for there's no W3. It's just an HTTP address. It's dxcluster.ha8tks.hu, and that is right. RBN, reverse beacon networks, correct. And that if you go there to that link that I put up there, the dxcluster.ha8tks.hu, that is there's a DX cluster and RBN list. There's a map. There's Azimuthal map, which is really kind of cool. And I found this on it was a link on the contest newsletter that I get from ARRL. If you are a member of ARRL, you can go into your preferences, and there are tons of emailed newsletters that you can get on things that you might be interested in. If you're into Aries, you can get the Aries newsletter. If you're into contesting, you can get a contest newsletter. It's really quite neat. And that's a great site right there. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of people are using them to see where propagation is, because at this time in the solar cycle, it's more important than ever to understand as much as we can about propagation. We don't need to be a space scientist, but it does help us. Let me pause for a reset. Catherine's also put a nice link on there on the chat. It's www.reversebeacon.net. Basic info on them and why you should care. And please, anybody out there that's on, please feel free to share this. For those listening, by the way, if you're not aware, we have a Facebook group. It's the YL UpNet Facebook group. This is the YL UpNet. We have a Facebook group. You can go to Facebook groups and search Facebook and search the groups YL UpNet. And Leah, thank you for joining us. OM is home. See, it's all about the OMs tonight. I'm telling you, something in the air. 33 to you. I hope to see you next week, Leah. Thanks for joining us. And that's fantastic. Catherine lets us know that Tammy, KK4USM, got her antenna back up and working and is now listening to the net too. I'm assuming that's through the NF4GA repeater here in North Fulton. That's fantastic, and she is a NFARL member, so that's fantastic. Good to hear you on. Alita, WA7AL from Utah, just popped in and joined us this evening. Good evening to you. I'm going to go ahead and get you in the log, and good to see you in, Alita. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We've been talking about all kinds of different things this evening, and hopefully you can catch up with the net. It should be available for you in the morning on our YouTube channel. We have a YL UpNet YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and search for YL UpNet. We have a Facebook group, YL UpNet Facebook group. These links that we're talking about tonight, hopefully we can get them up on the Facebook group. I've been a little remiss. I'm usually right on top of it. I can't do it as easily as I can when Catherine's net control on the net, and I find it easy if I can just sit and go back through. And I hate when that happens. See, but here's the thing. If you set your Echolink to timeout at 150 seconds, your Echolink will turn you off at your computer before you do anything like, I don't know, timeout a repeater, which stinks, okay? So 150 seconds, ladies. Echolink TX timeout, 150 seconds, 150 seconds. I say that again. And go in and play around in your settings. Push buttons, open settings, see what things do. And explore how everything works. That's a good little lesson for how to do that. So yeah, we have some catching up with the links from the last couple of YL UpNets. Not really going to get into all that, but I would love to, time is flying by, I would love to at least get some of the things we have going on tonight. There's been a lot of links in the Echolink, but anyway, I find it's a lot easier if I can go through with a piece of paper, go through the chat and pull all the links down out of it and write them down on a piece of paper, and then go to each one and copy and paste it, because if I just try to do it from Windows I got open or memory, it's awful. So I found that I can order it better if I write everything down. Time does fly when you are having fun. And I know Andrea's on this evening. I think she's listening, but Alita had a question for you. Would you like to come on and ask Andrea, see if she's listening to us? Would you like to come on, Alita, and pose your question? And if she doesn't get back to you here, please go to the YL Ops Facebook group and post it on there. Andrea's always right on top of that. Catherine put the YLOpsGroups.io group link up, but I would rather you all go to groups.io and set up an account with them. It's very fast and easy. Set up an account with Groups.io first, and then put in your request to join the YLOps group. You'll get more control that way if you set up an account. So, all right. But I'm going to let Alita come on, and maybe she can, if you want to put it out to the group, go ahead and ask her question.
Good evening to all my fellow YLs. There's a lot of questioning going on, and I know that Andrea has this actually on her mobile, and it's a circular antenna, and she's able to get amazing reception with it, even doing QRP. And so the thing is I was wondering if she had any way where she got her schematics or whatever from it, or if there's something on, like I can look it up in an antenna book or something where I can get the information on how to build my own. But anyway, that was the main thing, is it's hitting a quite a popular kind of look anymore around here in the West Coast. So that was the main thing. So anyway, and I've been doing lots for my club. I've been really busy with the hobby, and the fact that it's been insane. I'm the vice president of the club, so I've been doing testing and Elmering and PRing for the club, all kinds of things. But it's kept me busy and it's been fun. 7AL, back to you.
Awesome. Wow. Well, you haven't been busy at all. Thanks for coming on. And I don't know if Andrea is just listening in the background or doing some other stuff. I see she's still logged on to Echolink, and she might be listening in the background. I was addressing Judy. Judy? I was addressing Judy. We have two Judys on here, and I was remiss. In the Echolink chat, Judy with an I, N5KUO, had asked if I was addressing her about the third party, and I was actually talking to Judy with a Y, KU7IXI, who comes in on her OM's Echolink, on her OM's Echolink. So that's why I was. That's where that comment had come from. She comes in on KE7FSD, Alan's Echolink node. So that's why you see OM up there. That's actually Judy with a Y, KE7IXI coming in there. So that's why she tries to pop in. She tries to pop in her name when she responds back. So you'll see two call signs in there. She tries to put her call sign in there so we all know who that might be, which is just absolutely awesome. As far as Andrea, K2EZ, are you listening, and did you happen to hear Alita's question regarding your, I believe it was your horizontally polarized UHF antenna, if I remember right? So N2EZ, this is AG4YL. Are you listening, and would you like to comment on W7AL's question regarding your antenna on top of your vehicle? Please call now. Okay, so I think Anna's probably listening to us in the background. She might be doing some other stuff. And thank you so much for coming by and joining us. And thank you. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. And again, I am so privileged to be a part of this net, and I'm so glad that you joined us. And thank you for your input as well. And love to. Yep, please, that's great. Alita's going to get in touch with Andrea on Facebook. Just pop it in there, and I'm sure she'll come right back. But if you go to the WildOpNet Facebook and pop it in, so all the other YLs can also get more information and start a conversation. She is also on our group's I.O., if I'm not mistaken, at the YL-Ops. Groups.io, YL Ops Group, and boy, I tell you what, time really does fly, and this takes a bit out of you, doesn't it? I'm trying to keep everything together. Yeah, in fact, I know she is, because, and I'll tell you why. You know, we got 31 gals on our Groups.io membership list. So that's pretty awesome right there. I like that. That's nice. Let's really increase that. And anybody, invite all YLs, you know, they don't have to be on this net. They can be anyone, anywhere, anyhow. Wow. You know what? We need more. We need more of the ladies on this net to get onto our Groups.io page. We'll approve you. Just if you would, please. You know what? Andrea's not on here. You got to get her on here. Rhea is. Like I said, go to Groups.io and go ahead and set up an account. It's really easy and fast and doesn't take but a second. And then you can do all the searching in the groups and check out the groups and do all that good stuff. And I see another pending member. So, wow, I tell you what, it's a lot of fun. And you know what? I hate it when I time out like that. If you like to, please go ahead and start a group up with a topic that you like. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close this out. Are there any more WILs that would like to check in before we close the net? Please call now. Okay, well, time flies when you're having fun. I really hope that those of you that's still with us this evening, that y'all had a good time on this evening's net, and that you'll join us next week. Hopefully we'll have Catherine back on here next week, and I'll be doing the behind-the-scenes thing. I would like to thank Lauren, KC9ZHV. She records things, edits things, posts things online, and gets our net up there. So you can catch up on the net. Also like to thank ALARA for the use of this Echolink conference node, the North Fulton Amateur Radio League for their Dewdrop-In chat room, and all linked listening for your ongoing support of this net. This is Melanie, AG4YL, closing the YL OpNet and returning the ALARA conference node back to normal use. 33, and see you next week.